How important is intelligence in entrepreneurship?
I think it depends on what level of success you're shooting for. I think like if you were like, I wanted to get into AI, like you've got to be probably really smart. And I think it's not even because like you're the one who's going to be the engineer doing it. It's like you need to be smart enough that an engineer who couldn't do that is impressed by you, right? Like so, I think it's really in the recruiting aspect where high intellect, if you will matter more. If you were, use the lawn care example, like you can succeed in the lawn care business without being brilliant. You can succeed in the gym business without being brilliant. You can succeed in a lot of businesses. I'd say most businesses without being, above 50% IQ. I think there are skills which people say as traits that are more important. I think courage is incredibly important. I think high agency, so the ability to make your own decisions without being influenced by others. I think honestly, just like perspicacity, like being able to endure and persevere. Because one of the really interesting things about entrepreneurship is that life gives you these unlimited lottery tickets, and you just pay time to get them, but you just can always get them to cash them in. And even if you cash 10 tickets in and they don't work, it's like you still have an 11th one, you still have a 12th one. And so a lot of people just will choose not to cash their tickets in at all, or even grab the tickets to begin with. And I think that ability to persevere is what gives you more shots on goal. And you only need one really big win to change your life forever. And so it's really just sticking with it. And I think that's on a long enough time horizon, somebody who sticks with it just gets enough, they just get so many chances that luck does happen.
Yeah. What percentage would you allocate to being the person in charge of running it versus the business itself?
Man, I'll say 50-50. Like I was going back and forth. It's like, because Uncle Warren has, great manager, bad market wins. Good market, bad manager, good market wins. I think that like the market is for sure the most powerful thing, but if we control for market, like, if you're selling toilet paper in COVID, you're going to make money whether you're an idiot or not. Like it's going to work. But I think the vast majority of marketplaces are not on either extreme. You're not selling to newspapers and you're not selling toilet paper during COVID. Most businesses are just kind of like in the middle. They're in markets that are just normal. And in those situations, the business model obviously has to be sound, but the business model is a reflection of the entrepreneur. And so if we remove market, then I'll say it's entrepreneur for sure. But market is more important if it's in one of these extremes.
What qualities do you see in those people? Are there similarities between the two?
Yeah, it's interesting because there's for sure similarities. I think there's far fewer than most people expect. Because even if you look at the top I think Bezos and Elon are some of the goats of all time in terms of entrepreneurship. So different in terms of their personalities, the way they behave, their even values, like all of those things. I think they have some significant differences. But in terms of what are the commonalities about how they operate? They focus on speed. They focus on having an exceptional product. Both of them talk about Elon doesn't say customer obsessed, he says product obsessed, but they translated the same thing, which is they focus on product first above everything else. They're super long-term focused. People might have, something to say about me saying this, but I think they both have high ethics. They're like, oh, he's the devil, but whatever. I won't even comment. Leave it there. But high ethics, high customer obsession, long-term perspective, huge ability to tolerate pain, and the ability to tolerate risk, which is to have the courage to do it. And because both of them had so many moments where they just went all in on Amazon or all in on Tesla or SpaceX or whatever. It's like you have to have some ability to go big and bet the farm. And I think that almost every entrepreneur that I know who's made it really big has had a moment where they're like, this could not work, and I'm just going to try and make it work.
It's so interesting because I feel like there's a huge trend online right now, and also maybe for the past 5-10 years, of there can never be an ethical billionaire. Oh. Do you think in order to get to that level of wealth, there needs to be a time where you compromise your ethics, or do you think that's just a bunch of stuff that people like to throw out there to maybe self-aggrandize themselves?
Well, as somebody's whatever.
Go ahead. As someone
I am biased, so I'll state my bias. I am trying to hit it or in process of hitting it. And so I obviously don't think that there's an ethical, that you have to. I think, I'll say it differently. If you took a random slice of the population, just America or even the world, you're going to have a certain percentage of people who are ethical and you're going to have a certain percentage of people who are not ethical. And the skills to run a business, I think, can operate in some ways independently of those things. So you can become super financially successful and be unethical, and you can be super financially successful and be ethical. And so I think that you'll have a distribution that is normalized at the top as much as you do in the middle. Like how many people are divorced, how many people are married, how many people are like, you're going to have, how many people have kids, how many people don't have kids. Like you're going to have a random distribution there. And I think people will just cherry pick bad actors. And there's also like allegations based on like regulations. Like if you look at all the big Fortune whatever companies, it really starts to come down to like, what do you, it gets into ethics, which is a totally different can of worms. But if you were to say like, the TCPA, which is Telephone Consumer Protection Agency, whatever, they go after a company. And it was because the company didn't put the right language on their, landing page. And because of that, they sued Facebook for $700 million. Is Facebook being unethical? Or are they operating in ignorance? Oftentimes when you have more laws than you can keep track of, or somebody makes an oopsie, those things happen. And so it really depends like, okay, well, are we now saying that Facebook's unethical? Now I'm not saying that I think that they're good for the world, but I'm saying fundamentally like, I think mistakes can happen. And so the idea that people will say a billionaire might be unethical is probably different than a billionaire has made mistakes. And I think those are two very different things. Because for sure every billionaire has made mistakes and for sure has done things that they wish they hadn't, because that's what humans do in life.